Have you ever been underestimated, told that you don't belong, and that you'll never succeed? As an immigrant, the odds are stacked against you. If you don't take control now, you risk staying stuck, fighting for scraps, and forever doubting yourself. In this video, I'll show you the skill that allowed me to break through every barrier, prove everyone wrong, and escape the limitations others placed on me so you can actually do the same. But first, let me ask you this. What if you're just one skill away from changing everything? One skill that's invisible to others, but powerful enough to turn doubt into undeniable success. For immigrants, the stakes are higher. Every opportunity is a battle to prove your worth. If you don't learn how to do that quickly, you risk staying stuck, trapped in low-paying jobs, trapped in mediocrity. As immigrants, we have to work twice as hard to be noticed. You could be the most qualified person in the room, but if you don't know how to present yourself, you remain invisible. You see, you need to sell your value to make others see your potential. Imagine constantly being underestimated, knowing you have the skills, but being overlooked because you can't communicate your value. Like, no matter how talented you are, if you can't sell yourself, the system will keep you in mediocrity. For immigrants, this is a trap you can't afford to fall into. Mastering high-ticket sales changes the game forever. Once you know how to sell, how to communicate your worth, especially remotely, you don't just break through your own expectations, you break through the expectations that others have of yourself as well. You prove that you are more than what others assume you were. You don't just open doors, you create new ones. But you might be wondering, how can mastering this skill turn everything around? Like, what difference will it actually make in my life? Well, without mastering these skills, for example, I would still be in debt, maybe even still sleeping on the floor. Like, picture this. You wake up every day on the floor, buried in debt, with no bed, no backup plan, and everything feels like survival, right? Like every day is just surviving. That's where I was. Without learning something new, I knew I would have never made it out. So in today's world, opportunities don't come to you. You have to sell your ideas, your value, your products, anything. And for immigrants, it's twice as hard because people already underestimate you. People expect you to stay invisible. You're not just facing financial struggles, you're facing biases, assumptions, and constant doubt. If you don't learn how to stand out, the world will keep overlooking you. It wasn't until I was laid off, living on the floor with $17,000 in debt, that I realized no one was coming to save me. But when you are already so far down, where do you even begin, right? How do you turn rock bottom into the first step towards something greater? For me, it started with high-ticket sales over the phone. At first, it wasn't about making money, it was about surviving, where each call became a lifeline, a chance to prove to myself that I could break free from the cycle of doubt and debt. And then, I realized that mastering this skill was the key to unlocking the doors that were closed to me long before. But here's the thing, knowing selling is important, and actually mastering sales are two very different things. So how did I go from knowing nothing about sales to making over 50 grand per month doing it? And how can you actually do the same? My first sales calls were rough, I fumbled, got rejected, and every no felt like a punch to the gut. Each failure felt like a reminder that maybe I wasn't good enough, that maybe I couldn't do this. But giving up wasn't an option either. I had no other choice. So I did what every person that, left their country to live the American dream would do. I learned from my mistakes. Each call became a lesson. I started noticing the patterns, what worked and what didn't, and slowly I began to refine my approach. Every conversation became a training ground, and I treated each failure as fuel to get better. I realized that success in sales wasn't about talking more or pitching harder. It was about listening, really listening. Understanding the person on the other end of the line, figuring out what they needed, and guiding them to see the transformation I was offering. The moment I stopped focusing on what I was going to say next, and instead tuned into my clients' needs, everything changed for me. I started asking the right questions, letting the clients lead the conversation. And, I let them tell me what they needed instead of me telling them what I had to offer. I began to master not just the art of selling, but the art of building trust. Over the phone and over Zoom, body language doesn't play a role that much. So I learned to build trust through voice, tone, and empathy. Every client needed to feel heard, understood, and guided, not so too. Once I learned that, closing deals became natural. I wasn't just selling products, I was selling the transformation. And that was, what made all the difference. Here's what worked for me, and it will definitely work for you as well. Learn to actively listen. Listen. Stop thinking about what you say next and focus on your client's words. Start each call with open-ended questions. Let your client lead the conversation and reveal what they truly need. Build trust quickly. Over the phone or Zoom, trust is built through voice and tone. Mirror your client's emotions. If they are excited, match their energy. If they are worried, acknowledge their concerns and offer reassurance. Sell the transformation, not the product. People don't care about the features. They care about the outcome. Paint a vivid picture of success for your client. Like, show them what their life will look like after they say yes to your offer. That's exactly how I use this skill to change not only my life, but how others saw me. But here's the thing, even after mastering high-ticket sales and making way more money than I ever did, there's another step that you will have to take to truly make others respect you. In my next video, I'll show you exactly what that step is and why it can make all the difference in your journey.